What is it that drives you? What is it that you want to achieve? I'm going to share with you today 3 key parts that you'll be able to take away with you through stories of adventurous expeditions that I've gone on in my life and come out with little gems that you'll be able to take away today to find that it's not just about achieving your dreams and your goals and tapping into that emotion and getting there. That's part of the equation to success. The other part of the equation is one fraction of positive impact that when added with your equation to achievement, you will come out. I've been up to the North Pole, and if most of you don't know what the North Pole's like, it's a pretty cold place. Minus 55 degrees, 320 pounds by myself. I made an achievement of breaking what people said was impossible. They said there's no way you can do it. It's just never been done, especially as a solo expedition, too much weight and equipment. I never made it to the North Pole on that particular trip, and I did come out with an achievement that broke past a psychological barrier which people said was impossible. Where is your dream? Where is your goal? Because when you tap into that, this incredible emotion comes around you. This incredible ability comes with that emotion, and anything is possible. So people said to me, how did you actually do that? And I said, well, very simply. You put up on your goal, want to get to the North Pole. That's it. It's a possibility. Want to get there. Where am I now? This stuntman dude who's working in Vancouver, probably slightly overweight and not quite as fit as I used to be. So that's where I was now. Then I had to think to myself, what's the most simple, logical way to get from here to there? So what was the next step? And one of the biggest fears I had, or one of the biggest things I had to consider, was I could die. This wasn't a joke. It's the North Pole we're talking about. Solo, unassisted. That could be me snuffed out for a number of reasons. And in that moment, I considered I would die. And I thought, I'm going to do it anyway. Because the feeling of wanting to get there, my emotion drew me in so much that it didn't matter. And I built contingency plans and trained so I could deal with those emergency situations, much like a pilot does in all the possible scenarios of what could happen in a plane. So I built all of this in, and that was the simple process I extracted. The simple process that each of us could do and apply in our lives to achieve our dreams, our goals, the impossible. So I was living this passion, I was living this life and achieving things along the way. What was interesting is that eventually started to die out. It was almost like, I can only equate this sense of achievement was like a sugar buzz. And it was dying out. The rush was going. I wanted to find out the process of my mind because I realized that there was a lot of power contained within the mind because of the things I was able to achieve and the states I'd got to, like the zone I mentioned earlier. And breaking through that wall, I'd been able to do that quite well in many different fields. And so I thought, there's got to be something more to the mind, which I like a challenge. So I went for the most difficult sect, the sect of Buddhism that I had no comprehension about, the one that challenged me at my core, in my mind. Because I knew, having done challenges, the greater the challenge, the greater the learning in between that. And so I knew that if I could see the light from that perspective, on that side, at the end of that tunnel, I would have learnt and shifted beyond myself enough to have had, hopefully, the wisdom to somewhere find that fulfillment in between that. Was a process of selflessness, a process of thinking outside of Alan. Now you can imagine what that was like. I was like a kid in a pram. No, I didn't want to think about anyone else. Hey, how is selflessness going to help me get to the North Pole? Never, it wouldn't have helped me before, wouldn't have helped me now, and it's not going to help me now. It challenged everything that I believed in. And it took time. It took time, step by step. I went through that rough, and I struggled with those teachings because I wasn't prepared to let go of myself. So it's like we're all swimming across this ocean of trying to find this element which I was missing at this time, even having achieved. And how can you see, some of us say, well, once you get to the other side, then you can help others. And this particular school said, no. While you're swimming along and we're all drowning, grab a couple of others with you, And it's like, that doesn't make any sense at all. And it definitely didn't make any sense. I need to help myself first. I need to get my goals first. Let me get my 20 million first, and then I'll come and consider contributing to someone else. But I struggled with it, and I pushed through, and I kept on going. And I was dealing with my mind now, not other people telling me it was impossible. It was me telling me that I don't want to be going there. I was facing my own fears, Until one day, I heard a teaching, and I focused in specifically about selflessness. And it said, the vow of taking selflessness until you find that zone. And I thought, for that reason, I can probably commit. I don't have to do this forever. Great. So I can eventually go back on the road and getting everything I want to get out of life, especially this fulfillment malarkey. And what was interesting is that 3 years later, 3 years it took, peeling away the layers of myself, that I saw the first glimpse in my life of totally relinquishing self based upon giving a promise to benefit someone else before me. The second I did that from my relative of self, this magic happened in that process. I spent the rest of my life since then developing tools and techniques and learning tools and techniques to master that process and find the magic in each of our lives from that point on. And so what I found was that through a framework of selflessness and positive impact and positive beneficial impact, which is really positive impact at deeper levels and helping others find this process, I have not only been able to find this element of fulfillment that keeps me alive and passionate at a deeper level, which I believe is what we're actually all searching for, is this fulfillment factor, which we believe is contained in £30 million. But I've also been able to rapidly transform areas of my life through the process of transforming other people's lives. By helping them find the magic in their lives, it has naturally just flowed back to me. And so instead of it being a contradictory path of selfless, emotion, logic, it's a process that's finally come full circle. And that's where the magic happens, is when the two start connecting. And it becomes a moment-to-moment practice, which can be applied into any aspect of our lives to not just achieve, but find success, which is actually what we're all looking for. And so, when you hear someone say to you, it's impossible, there's no way you can do it, remember you can. When you think of your dream, remember of the emotion that you can tap into in this moment. You don't have to go to Tibet, you don't have to go to North Pole, and you don't have to do what I do to do that. You can do that in your lives right this moment, in this world, in your world. You can achieve anything you want to, follow your dreams, and help others along the way.